Lankreijer. Ja, ik weet niet of jij dat kan lezen, maar much respect, loads of techno, Lankreijer. Billy Nasty, Keeping House Alive. Ja, kan ik ook even niet lezen wie dat is. Infected Inside van Infected Mushrooms.
Hier links was het, hè?
Ja. Harde beats zijn best wel oké. Thank you, Sinedu. We hebben nog meer. Captain Timrip. Mike Wade van Knee Deep. DJ Rush, Knee Deep. Chicago 1997. Derek May was hier 1998. Gigolo DJ Hell 98. Nou, Chesto in de studio met de trein. Keep on stomping, ook een mooie uitdrukking. Oh, it's a nice. Thanks for keeping it real, Marc. Much love from Robert Owens. DJ Eddie de Klerk. We made him Superman. We made him Super DJ from this picture live in the studio. He's one of the godfathers of the house music. Who else have been playing here? Tyree Cooper, the producer. One of the pioneers from the States. Frankie D, playing different music than house music. Ted MTC and the MTC parties from Rotterdam. DJ Karim Raihani, he's living in Ibiza now, playing really great world music with electronics. DJ Ski, who became really famous in the 90s with a Brazilian drum in it. Now he's famous from his project Chocolate Puma. Yeah, welcome in my office here in Amsterdam, and we are here at the canals. It's one of the examples of the trading company that the Netherlands was in the golden century. We traveled the world, maybe in a good, maybe in a bad way sometimes, and we traded. We met people. We bought stuff. We didn't give much back, though. From the money, from the flowers, from peppers and stuff, from all over the world, we built the houses here. And sometimes I say, okay, we are in kind of the same era. We still trade. It's music. We travel, not by boat. We travel by plane. In every corner of the world there are Dutch DJs to play music. Make loads of money. One kind of different thing might be the passion. Music always starts with a passion. Money always comes later when there's a little success. The thing is, I love history. I love culture. I love people, especially different people, why people are different, and try to understand those people. And of course I love music. It's a discovery of the world. I'm always curious to what drives people, what music genres are involved in other countries, or which instruments are used. So when I started my bookings agency, it's called AMSbookings for Amsterdam. Now it's also called Amsterdam Music Society, which is the bigger company. It's also including publishing, events, and a record label. But mainly with bookings, I travel with the artists. So I'm very happy to see also a part of the world, and prefer to stay a little longer than most DJs who go in a plane, play a gig, hardly have any sleep, because normally the checkout in the hotel is early because you have to catch your next plane, and then you don't see anything from the country. So almost like 15 years ago, so just around the millennium, me and my first signed DJ in the agency was DJ Mason, who was playing back then electronic violin while mixing vinyl. So he was a musician and a DJ and in general an artist. I love that. I love the combination of playing an instrument and being a DJ. Back then we ended up in China, we ended up in Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, playing all over Asia. And we felt we are just the first or one of the few, especially the closed market of China, and we loved it. We couldn't read anything, we couldn't talk the language, and back then we ended up in a kind of a club which was pretty regular, it still exists. It's kind of a karaoke club, so it means that you are going out with your friends. There are some tables where you play a kind of a game, a double game, and you have like circles where there's music from karaoke, so you sing along. And then we were DJing there for the first time in a club in Hangzhou, and we went to Guangzhou, and we went to Shenzhen, we went all over China, and I never saw a Western DJ. But they were pretty clever, they put in a hydraulic dance floor, which means that the crowd who was on the dance floor went up and down when the DJ started to play. So it looked like everybody was making a party, but they didn't know the music, but they felt the groove. And back then we said, wow, this is great. This is really an opportunity of people who have never, in those cities, not talking about Beijing or Shanghai, of course there were DJs playing. Those people are open to new music. And I think it's very interesting that you are open-minded to other genres and other music. So we have been touring a lot. And just lately, like 2 years ago, I wasn't in China for a while. And back then, we started to come there and meet a lot of friends and friends of friends who starting doing parties, starting doing festivals, trying to educate, especially the Chinese, so not that much only the Western people and the expats. And my other artist, Kamara, they played there for 25 times in even more, within 2 years. So we came back and we came back and we came back. And we went all over China and make more friends, and we started to understand the social media, how people connect to each other, how people communicate. And I saw so many talents on those festivals, in those small underground clubs, meeting people with a passion, but didn't have any clue about marketing or communication, just the music. And we thought, okay, this is a closed market. China is a closed market. So why shouldn't we ask them to join us here in Amsterdam on ADE, the Amsterdam Dance Event, which is a platform. It's a showcasing event, right? It used to start when I was there, like more than 20 years ago. It started in 1995, and I went every year from that day. It was all about labels and music. Although we had a couple of clubs with the people who came to the conference can attend the party. Nowadays it's huge. We have over 100 clubs, 450 events and 375,000 people going out. But I hardly see any Asian artists. Just a few Japanese, maybe here and there one Indonesian artist. And we thought, okay, why are we not bringing those people here? Rather than that we bring Dutch artists to China or the rest of Asia and give them a platform so the world can see them and they can get connected. Because the thing is, if you want to fly out and want to be more famous, you need to have connections. That's the thing. It's not only the music that does the trick. You need to know people. And here, everybody's here. It's very accessible to talk with people because everybody has a badge. So you know the name, you know the company and the country you're from. So you can go to somebody and say, hey, you are running a label in the States or you're throwing events in Ireland. Great. I got a music for you. Do you want to listen to it? for us, it's a great way to do something back, right? So if I compare that like that golden century, where we most of the time we're getting stuff for our benefits, I always like to do it the opposite and say, okay, what can we return to the people? And how can we collaborate? Because every industry has kind of sub-scenes, right? One is more commercial, one is more underground, one is more creative, one is more into this. And it's not always working together. And I think if you should bring all kinds of people together at one place, then you can create magic.
Can you tell me a bit about Chinese female DJs who are gigging here at EDA?
Yeah, we invited 3 female DJs, MIIIA, Rainbow, and Jasmine Li. I asked Jasmine Li because I know she studied for 12 years, also playing instruments, and she has a classical background. I asked her, can you bring an instrument? Because I know you can play it. And she said, yeah, I can play pipa. I said, I love that, because the pipa has a typical traditional Chinese sound. And so she brought it. She played it in Metamorphosa. I think we all had goosebumps when we did a rehearsal, because she was in the middle of the area when nobody was in yet. And then later on stage, she used the pipa and integrated it in her set. And I was just in the crowd, and I was hearing a record, and I said, wow, I want to know what record this is. This is such a great record. And I heard kind of an instrument, but she was not playing that instrument. And it was a really beautiful, kind of progressive techno record. And I went up to her boyfriend, who was in the crowd. I said, yeah, she played this record on the opening of her club. She owns a club in Shanghai. And she said, yeah, she made a record. Wow, that's even better. I mean, her set was really great, perfect. Her performance was perfect. And then she also produces records, which I knew, but I never heard that record. And then I think, wow, so you have it all. You are a producer, making great records. You have great skills technically and musically, because you can read the crowd. And her performance is great, because you get happy to see an artist, right? And some people get happy to see an artist being very lively, and other people can be happy seeing an artist being really concentrating. Like MIIIA, for instance, she's really into techno, right? So you can feel that the sound she's bringing, she will bring it to you, right? So if you're really into techno, then you can see, okay, MIIIA is getting us there, right? And Rainbow is more lively. She's putting her rich background of knowledge and experience of traditional Chinese music as well. So she did really well her homework and said, okay, we have a very diverse crowd, so I have to play with it. So sometimes I go a little bit more rocky poppy, and then a little disco-ish, and then a little deep house, and then a little techno. And that's the thing from China. So sometimes they can play it all as a blended mix, which here we mainly have techno on techno events and deep house on deep house events. So she was a great example that Chinese DJs don't want to follow as well what our Western tradition is, but say, hey, this is me, and let's make a set how I think I should represent China. So all the female DJs did great, and it was a huge experience for them. And this is just a start.
Is China a growing market for the DJs? The native DJs there?
I think everywhere it's a growing market.
In China?
China as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's huge.
And which kind of...
The thing is, I just attended a panel was about India and Latin America. And India said, okay, we have been growing massively with events and festivals. And now everybody's going to China. We are done now here.
Yeah.
So, and he's the biggest player in India. So that means, and I hear this on ADE everywhere, of the people I talk to, they say, yeah, everybody's going to throw festivals now in China. They think that's the business model. So many investors now are putting money in the festivals and not in the clubs anymore. So it's a growing market. But does that mean that people really are going to like the music? Does that mean that people are really like to go to the festival? The biggest player in India said 80% of the people don't like the music. Or at least I don't think they like it. But it's a kind of a thing you need to do and you have to go out. So it's a growing market, but is there a passion? It's really hard to find a passion from Chinese people. To referring to the panel you recorded earlier, you see that parents, family wants them to do other things, serious careers in their life. So it's really hard to get into the real passion of a person and that he is allowed to follow his heart. And I think that's a role we should do, and our Chinese friends are doing that, to give them a kind of a role in this whole music industry and start with all kinds of things to learn and find your passion if you think that you are up to that. And I think the local market should educate their locals, and of course we love to help with that, and not helping that we say, because that's what Dutch people mostly say, oh, we can do it better. Now just listen to them and feel if they need your knowledge, if they need your help, and other way around, I like to learn from them as well.
Okay, and do you have ambition in the Chinese market more than you have already?
Definitely. Not only in China, but all over Asia. For me, my goal is to set up AMSbookings.ASIA, which means that we want to tour Asian artists more here in Europe, and reverse, to set up collaboration with productions. And just a few people are doing that right now, not that many in the underground scene. And I think if we're all on the same passion level, it's a great experience for everybody. And then Asia can be a growing market, have their domestic talent fly out and get their big stars that the local people will say, wow, this is my hero. And Nakadia is a great example for that. She's from Thailand. She played 60 plus countries so far. It's amazing.
Which flavor? Techno?
Techno,
yes?
Yeah. Warm, melodic techno. And she's coming from a poor area, one of the poorest area in Thailand. No running water, no access to Western music. But when she ended up for her first job in Bangkok in an internet cafe, she got access to Western music. And then she found out that, wow, this is my passion. And she ran into a guy from Germany, got in contact by internet, and he took her to Europe. And she saw MIIIA playing, and MIIIA back then was a famous female DJ from Germany. And he said, wow, this woman can control the whole crowd, just one woman, and make everybody happy and dance. She said, I want to be a DJ. So he said, okay, give you 2 turntables, you practice, and we will see. If you're good, then we start. And back then, that was the first thing that happened. And she's playing all over the world. And for me, it's one of the examples that if you want to live your life with the dream you have, work hard and you get your dream. And now she changed the music style in Thailand. They were playing shitty top 40 music for 10 years or longer. She started with that music as well, because if you don't have any access to Western music, you buy records and you try what you can find. That's the great thing from dance music, that after a while you get your own taste. You always evolve to another genre or to another level. And she started to play techno in Thailand and kept on doing that for 6 years. And now it's accepted. The youth festivals with techno DJs. She's on television all the time. She's in magazines. She's one of the most famous Thai people as an expert product. So For us, it's an example that if you have a local hero, that will have the scene grow.
Okay, can you, back to ADE, what can you tell me about Saturday, next Saturday? What's the plan? How many DJs will gig over there?
For the China Pavilion, it's a daytime party, starts at 1 o'clock afternoon already till 3 a.m. So it's a 14-hour event. We got more than 10 artists coming from China. We have DJs, we have live acts, really great with live keyboards and video mapping, visuals. Jasmine will bring her pipa. Awesome. We have pioneer DJs like WengWeng, Mickey Zhang. Those guys are from the beginning already over there in the Chinese electronic music scene, like early 90s. We have the young kids on the block. Acid Rabbits, he's only 17, has never been out of China. So for her it will be a major experience to join the family. And I love that. So we have club owners who are DJs or DJs who started clubs. We have DJs who started festivals. Everybody can join in and meet those people and share business contacts and get connected. That is the networking event. In the meantime, the artists are showcasing themselves. We will be recording everything on cassette. In China, one of the guys who has a club in Chengdu, he's selling cassette tapes. It's if you go back into the 80s, I love it. My radio background is radio, and I recorded the biggest DJs in the world in my radio show on cassette. From Jeff Mills, Kevin Saunderson, Derek May, even Chesto came to my radio show. Wow. Early 90s. So it's the grassroots, right? Go back to cassettes and sell it on the street or give it away for free. So for us, it's an amazing experience that we have all our friends on one event for 14 hours and open the world. For people who want to go to China, and for the Chinese who want to go to the rest of the world. And I just facilitate that. And I love to do that. And of course there's a bigger goal to unite everybody together. For me, that's the most important thing. If I can get my artists touring over there, will be great. I only have 5 artists, so it's not really a lot. But collaborating in music, making magic, great new tracks together, and enjoy it together, because we enjoy Chinese dinner this week, and food is a universal language, and music is a universal language as well. So even if you don't talk the language, you can get along by music and food and drinks.
Last question. What's your name, actually?
My name is Marc. Lankreijer.
Thank you.